If you have been following me, you may remember about 4 years ago, I did a review of the Diva Cup. If you have not seen that review, it's either going to be over here or over here. You can click the video and watch the review. The Diva Cup is great because I'm always looking for ways to recycle and reuse. But the way we are set up as women, we come in different sizes, different shapes, and different tolerances, let me tell you. The more I tried the Diva Cup, the more I found it wasn't for me. And by looking at the comments on that video, some of you felt the same way I did. Today, I will be reviewing a different menstrual item. Yes, a reusable menstrual pad. Yes, I said it, a reusable menstrual pad. What is a reusable menstrual pad? Glad you asked. So a reusable menstrual pad is just like a regular pad, as it catches your flow during your menstrual cycle. Simple as that. But there are some key differences. The particular brand that I bought from Amazon is called Miss C2C. I don't know what the C2C means, but that's what they were called. There are a total of 7 pads in this pack. A lot of them were random patterns and colors, but I decided to go with black because black is always safe in my opinion. Something called a wet bag was included, and my guess is that if you're out and you have to change your pad for whatever reason, you can fold it up and put it in this bag and have it concealed until you can get home. Each pad comes with 3 different layers, which makes it super absorbable. Each one of the pads have plastic buttons at the wings, so it's similar to a pad that you would get at the store that has wings. You would take the pad, put it in your panties, and clasp the buttons together to make it secure in your panties. And the part that makes them reusable is that you can machine or hand wash each one of the pads. Okay, so now that you know a little bit about the reusable pads and some of the key features, let's open it up so you can see what it looks like. It comes in a plastic bag that I will be reusing also. I always reuse my boxes and plastics and things like that. So, alrighty, let's just get rid of that. So, I said I got black, but I guess I didn't. Sorry. But it's actually pretty cool. It kind of reminds me of Hawaii style because of the flowers. There's no smell. I thought for a fact that they would have some kind of odd smell, but they are cloth. Why would they have a smell, right? So I counted 6, and per the description, it was supposed to be 7. Maybe I misread it. Maybe it was 7 pieces in all, like 6 pads plus the wet bag. Perhaps that's what it meant. It was 7 pieces and not 7 pads. But anyway, that's fine. This is the average size. I would say maybe, in my opinion, this is a small size. So here are the little plastic clasps I was telling you about. And they clasp together. So here's a little wet bag. Has a little zipper on it. Open it up. So I suppose you would fold it. Put it in there and zip it up. My plan is to test these pads in 3 different scenarios, right? I mean, everyday living, you have to test them in different scenarios. So I decided I was going to test it while out doing regular errands. The second scenario is to go to sleep in one. My third scenario is to go work out in this. Let's do it. All right, guys, the test scenarios are done and the results are in. I did all 3 scenarios and a bonus within 5 days. Test scenario number 1 was everyday errands. I went to Walmart for grocery shopping. I went to Home Depot to pick up some weed and feed. And then I went to the bank to do some transactions. I got home and the pad was still in place. There was no smell, no leakages. Everything was a-okay. Test scenario number 2 was me sleeping throughout the night. I woke up maybe 2 to 3 times to use the restroom each time the pad was in place. I got up the next morning and noticed the pad was shifted a little bit back, but amazingly, There were no leakages and no smell. I know I keep mentioning smell, but let me tell you why. With a traditional pad, the perfumes and the chemicals that they use in those pads, it just gives off a very odd odor when it's mixed with body fluids, for me at least. That's why I really wanted to pay attention to if there was a smell off these cloth pads, just like the traditional pads. And so far, it's been fine, no smell. So test number 3, you guys, was actually a bonus in my eyes. It was basically my chill day. I went to lunch, I came home, took an hour nap, and then I watched a couple of movies and I cooked dinner. So all this was from 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. Again, it felt like I did not have the pad on. There were no leakages, no smell, no shifting at all. So test scenario number 4 was actually previously supposed to be my number 3, was wearing a pad to go work out. You guys, I do a Zumba class at least 2 to 3 times a week, and it is a heavy duty class, a lot of movement. I didn't feel the pad shift during class, but as I was walking out to my car, I could feel that it had shift. When I got home to check it out, I did notice it did shift back a little bit, and I had a little leakage. But it really didn't surprise me as much because with the traditional pad, it shifts a lot. And compared to that, this reusable pad did not shift as much. Also, the pad felt a little heavier than the other days. And I put 2 and 2 together, and all the sweat that came out down there went straight to that pad. With this particular scenario, I noticed there was a smell. And I really just honestly think it's just was my menstrual cycle mixed with the sweat on this time around. That's natural. The smell wasn't bad at all. TMI, maybe, but I want to let you know. Next, I want to talk about washing the pads. So I purposely did not wash the pads right away. Instead, I stored them in a wet bag. And I simply wanted to test how well the bag contained the smell of the pads. And it did very well because I did not smell anything outside of that bag when it was zipped up. I washed 2 of the pads in the washing machine with my regular laundry. I used cold water and Gain laundry pods. I also dried them in the regular dryer. The last 2 pads I hand washed in the sink using cold water and bar laundry soap, and then I allowed them to air dry. In my opinion, both methods of washing resulted the same, but I'll let you be the judge of that. Here's a picture. So on the left side is the one I washed in the washing machine and dried in a dryer. On the right side is the one I hand washed and allowed to air dry. Can you see a difference? I don't know. Let's get to the good part. The pros and cons of using a reusable menstrual pad. So pros. It was very comfortable, and at times I forgot I even had it on. The pads are reusable, making them eco-friendly. They are washable and reusable. The pads are better for your feminine health and hygiene. The pads are affordable. You cannot have pros without cons. I mean, there's good and bad in every scenario. If you are bothered by menstrual flow, washing these pads may be a problem for you. After sleep and working out, I noticed the pad did shift a bit, but not too bad, especially compared to the traditional pad that I use. The pad shifts a whole lot, and the stickiness of the pad is ridiculous. With the traditional pad, I always have leakage. The pads are super absorbent, but I'm not quite sure how absorbent it is if you have a heavy flow. I can't speak to that because my flow is like a moderate. So you would just have to try them out for yourself to see if it would work for your heavier flow. I'm sorry, guys. My overall experience with the reusable menstrual pad was a very good one. There was a couple of cons, but nothing too major to sway me away from continuing to use them. You're not only saving the economy, you're ultimately taking good care of your feminine parts. Peace out.